Hello and welcome back to Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. So last time we faced a big bad demon and then we ended up here, knocked out and pretty much confused. So this time we have to basically explore the town, figure out what happened and figure out a way forward for us. There's also the storyteller is somewhere nearby, so we should definitely go and find him because I imagine he'll have some interesting things to say. So, the quest that we have, Gwyrm Family Secrets. Gwyrm, get our money. Spies amidst our ranks. Irabeth does not have the numbers to force the demons out of the Tower of Estrad. She wants us to go there and get scouting and information. Okay. The Crusaders are seeking the advice of a strange elf who calls himself the storyteller. Gotta go and do that. And then, how many people are there still alive in the city who can hold a weapon or cast a spell? So we have to go and find allies. So it looks like the first little act of this is find allies, get control, and then we can go and take back the city. And then I assume from that point, that's when you start having access to like more of the world-changing things. It's just a smaller scale. Similar to how in Kingmaker, you kind of started off like not really having everything, and then you have to go and face the Stag Lord, right? This is our first real challenge. Not to spoil Kingmaker too much, but it is like within the first... It is very early on. Anyway. Hey, wait, mind if I bend your ear about something? Anevia is outside your door, leaning casually against a shelf. Oh, didn't even spot her there. So, here's the first and most important thing. Beth gave you a crucial mission. I get it. I know you'll get the job done. I saw you in action. But here's the rub. By sending you out on an errand, we're weakening our defenses here. If they come at us while you're gone, I don't know if we'll be able to fight them off. Well, everything seems clear so far. What do you want to discuss? So the rift in that damn beetle left with its scythe. Well, yeah, it cut the city in two, and it's kind of difficult to get across. My scouts tell me there's a halfway decent place to set up a crossing in Market Square. Not that any of them tried to make sure. But if you got a mind to go across, I think you're going to have to eventually. You might want to give the square a once over. Okay. Do you want me to stay here and guard the tavern? You what? No. Your task is far too important. And you can't just hole up here all cozy like waiting for the demons to knock on the door. We need to take the fight to them. But if those freaks try to make a move on this place, Beth will send a runner to get you. If that happens, you'll get back here, alright? Because if you don't, you'll be coming back to an ash pile. Got it? Okay, so it might be while we're out adventuring, we might get a message from Irabeth saying, come back here. Got it. When do you think the demons will attack next? Your guess is as good as mine. It might not be here. They could attack the whole damn city. Those vermin know they've lost the upper hand, that we're going to push back hard. If things kick off here, you should know, after they attack, some things could be changed beyond recognition. So if you got any business that needs taking care of, you better do it soon. Alright, so what that's telling me is we need to do all of our quests as soon as possible because if the demons attack, we're moving on to the next stage of the story. So this is similar to how in Kingmaker, I know I'm going back to Kingmaker, but it's my point of reference. In Kingmaker, there were certain events that happened after days in-game, so I'm assuming it's same here. Like, if we spend time wasting away doing nothing for days in-game, then basically events will happen and we will have lost our chance. Okay, thanks for the warning. See ya. Later, watch out for yourself there. Okay, cool. So, let's see who we need to speak to. Let's speak to Camellia first. Let's see if we can get a party member back. Camellia looks you over pensively, toying with the snake-shaped bone amulet that dangles from her pale neck. Noticing your glance, she flashes you a cold, barely there smile. Greetings. It seems for a moment that the girl wants to say something else, but the pause grows too long and she slips back into cautious silence. Your amulet is quite unusual. Where did you get it? Ah, my little trinket. It's so nice of you to notice, but I assure you this amulet is nothing but a bauble. Can a lady not be drawn to a beautiful, useless things? That's the amulet that stops us from seeing her alignment, right? Intriguing. Tell me about yourself. You want to know more about me than you already do. Why? Camellia arches a dainty brow. I talk to the spirits of this tormented land, and they guide me in battle. I'll help you fight the demons, and I swear that you can rely on me in this matter. Isn't that sufficient? Where did you learn to wield a rapier so well? I had good teachers, although They don't get all the credit. I am a most diligent student. Camellia licks her parched lips. Anyway, as much as I enjoy our delightful conversations, the spirits are calling me and I must respond. Please excuse me. Camellia turns away, watching you out the corner of her eye. I want to speak to you again. Your speech tells me you're of noble birth. You're most insightful. What such a quality to have. Camellia's laughter ends and unspoken words hang in the silence. Okay. Well, let's see what we want to say to this. I'm not going to say 2. 2 has extremely weird energy. Yeah, that I couldn't resist such a noble and beautiful lady. That's not really the way I want to go for it here. Oh, still, I believe that being of noble birth does not give anyone the right to look down on others. Let's say that and see what she says. Is that so? Well, thank you for sharing your opinion with me. I'm not going to say you don't belong in my party, I'm just going to say I have to go. I guess they join your party when you leave the area, maybe? I won't keep you. The dawning smile on Camellia's face freezes and quickly dies away. So is there a way of looking at other... Oh yeah, we can look at other party members now. Okay, we couldn't do that in the room when I tried last time, but they're all here now. Oh, well that's perfect, yeah. Because I kind of want to level them up as well. So let's level them up as we find them. So Camellia, let's level you up. So we're going to go into level 3 of Spirit Hunter, which gives us, I can't help but notice absolutely nothing in any way. Okay, that's a pretty bad level 3. It does get us level 2 spells though, which is nice. What are we going to do for 2 points? What's she best in? Exclusively Trickery. She's, oh, you know what? Double points in Trickery. She's our exclusive thief, therefore, yeah, we should put all of the points in there. Feet. So what are we using her for? She's kind of using a crossbow right now, but I'm not sure I want to make everybody a crossbow user. Is there something that we can do that would make her better? Oh, does she might also just get a set number of spells at level 2. Yeah, look at that. She just gets a set number of spells at level 2, so that's why it looks like she's getting nothing. She's actually getting a ton of spells. Okay, cool. But I think as a shaman, she can just pick from any of them, which is pretty cool. Maybe improved initiative for her would be good. Having your spellcaster who's a buffer and debuffer go first seems incredibly useful. Yeah, let's take that. We can't really go wrong with it. Yeah, and then she gets all these new spells, which is just really quite fantastic. Having lesser restoration will be nice as well, because it means we don't have to keep resting to get rid of all of the debuffs that we will no doubt apply to ourselves. Yeah, okay, this seems pretty good. So she's just got a nice collection of spells now. Let's see who else we got in here. We need to speak to Horgus. Where is my money, Horgus? 1,000 gold coins for you, just as promised. You helped me get back to the surface, and I duly paid you for escorting me. Horgus Gwyrm always keeps his word. Now, speaking of our future cooperation... Hey, he paid me the money. I didn't expect that. Horgus looks at you with unvarnished disapproval. His arms folded across his chest, his foot tapping impatiently. I have a job that would be perfect for someone like you. Naturally, I'll pay generously for your services. What do you mean, a job for someone like me? For an adventurer ready to sell their soul for booze, and then lie down drunk in the gutter. Or do you think you're somehow different? A traveling knight, perhaps? A noble of heart, but without a coin to your name. Horgus sizes you up critically, then sighs and shrugs. You seem a reliable enough ally to me, and you did get me out of those mongrel caves, so why should I care what you do with my money once you've got it? We failed a perception check. Oh! What was it? It was a 15 difficulty class perception check? To be fair, we rolled a 1, and we only really needed to roll a 7, but it's still interesting that there was one of those in there. Anyway, Horgus seems like one of those people who think the entire world owes them something. Interesting. I wonder what that would say otherwise. So I can say noble birth doesn't give you the right to behave badly. You know what, let's just move on. What does this job involve? You shall be my bodyguard. You see, I have good reason to return to my mansion here in Canabris. I still have. Well, it doesn't matter. It's none of your business. My mansion is a breathtaking building with a large garden in a wealthy part of the city. Even before demons attacked, every thief and fraudster in the city had tried to get inside one way or another. I shudder to imagine the state it's in now. I have little hope that my guards were able to hold the mansion during the attack, and I expect the servants fled when they saw the demons. Only Abadar knows what's happening there since. Therefore, I would ask that you meet me at my mansion and guard me there until I complete my business. I already asked the local paladins for help, and they've no desire to set foot outside this tavern. Damn cowards and traitors, that's what they are. The game minimized, by the way, in case you're wondering. Doesn't appear to have crashed, so we're good to go. Also, do take Camellia with you. I trust that girl more than the rest of your gang. She is of noble birth, after all. Interesting. So he trusts her. Now, it could just be noble birth, but we also know that Horgus was organizing like supplies for the Crusade and other such things. I wonder what else he's been doing, like nice things that he won't admit to. Okay, what kind of reward are we talking about? 1,000 gold coins, Horgus replies without hesitation. I could try and barter, but I don't think we need to. 1,000 coins, deal. Marvelous, most excellent. Horgus's face relaxes, soothing a few of the tense lines. I'll proceed to my mansion at once and wait for you there. Meanwhile, you needn't worry, I know the city like the back of my hand, but do hurry unless you want me to lower your reward. Never. Okay. I'm going to speak with Camellia again. We can't talk to her about that. Interesting. Let's speak to a Gemel Hawks. A strange figure towers over the bar. A huge, ungainly man with skin so milky white that his blue veins are visible even from a distance. His bald head is equal parts lumpy and pitted, and blood-filled eyes stare impassively out at you from beneath his pale brows. The glass in the albino's large, clumsy hands looks dangerously delicate, as if one twitch from those calloused fingers would be enough to crush it. A gold medallion engraved with a tankard gleams around his neck. Oh, what'll it be? Oh, we got a lore religion check. The medallion you're wearing, that's a sacred symbol, isn't it? Are you a cleric of Kalin? I'm a tavern keeper, best in the city, best there's ever been. And I pray to the best god there is. Cool, who are you? Sorry, I read it, and I haven't quite read it out loud yet. The albino slowly takes your measure with his red eyes, and finally, with a gentle sigh, says, Gemel Hawks, vampire. Really? Are you really a vampire? Gemel gives you a long look of reproach, then grudgingly answers, no. How'd you end up in the Crusader city? How did anyone end up here? How did you, or them? With a huge hand, the tavern keeper gestures at the ragtag group assembled in the room. The world is big, but there still isn't a place for everyone. People who no longer have a life anywhere else, they end up here. Any news in the city? There are demons everywhere, and you showed up. Oh, thanks. Appreciate it. Are there any places worth visiting? If you mean places that normal people usually stay well away from, well, there are plenty. Like the Pitaxian wine cellar. Pitax's origins lie with brigands from their neighbour to the north, Brevoy, who sought sanctuary amid the forests of the River Kingdoms. A band of vicious thieves made a hideout in a riverside hamlet known as Pitax. As they visited there year after year, their ill-gotten gold slowly transformed Pitax into something considerably larger than a simple, sleepy fishing village. Eventually, the bandits settled in Pitax permanently, building walls around the village, hiring sellswords to defend against their enemies, and crowning themselves kings of a newfound realm. With this, Pitax became a permanent fixture of the River Kingdoms, able to survive and thrive for nearly 4 centuries, while others around it withered and decayed. I believe it was a major player in part of the previous game. Anyway, Gemel pauses for effect, like the name of the place alone should make you quiver in fear. It once belonged to a Pitaxian trading house. Then King Irovetti came to power in Pitax, and property started changing hands. Soon after, the cellar shop's assistant was found in a ditch.
Well, not all of them, mind, just as Ed. Numerian gangsters had taken possession of the place. They wanted to sell something stronger than wine on the streets, and they ended up in the gallows. Then King Iravetti's number was up, so now his store stands empty and unclaimed. People say a headless ghost wanders the place at night, moaning ghoulishly. Ooh.
After coming to the end of this story, unusually long by his standards, the tavern keeper takes a swig from his tankard.
Just don't ask me how he makes any noise with no head. I wasn't there. I just tell it like I heard it.
I see you're not one for talking. Gemmel gives you a long, mournful look and says nothing. Well, let's shop. Okay, first things first, we'll click bulk selling to get rid of all of this junk. Then, we got any other junk that needs to go? Not necessarily, no. I think we're mostly okay after that point. We have 17 health potions, which might seem like a bit much. Ooh, a bag of holding. Beyond anything else, that's the thing we have to buy. That is huge. It gives us an extra 100 pounds of weight without suffering any negative consequences. What are these? Whenever the wearer casts a cantrip or first level spell, the spell deals 1 additional point of damage per die rolled. Okay, maybe that's good for something like a magic missile, which will do more at higher levels, but still a low level spell. Dark Veil. Once per day, you may use this item to grant your party total concealment against ranged attacks for 1 minute. What's concealment? Oh, it's a 20% miss chance. That's nice. And then Dark Omen. The wearer of this ring has the ability to cast spells spontaneously. Grants them the ability to cast the following spells: Ray of Enfeeblement, Scare, Ray of Exhaustion, Fear, and Waves of Fatigue. To cast a spell, the wearer still needs to have a spell slot of the required level. Interesting. Okay. Spicy pastry recipe. We'll buy that. What do we need for it? I have no idea. Okay, that's fine. We're gonna buy it anyway. And yeah, I think we're good. Is there anything else? No, I think we're okay. Deal. So now we're down at light here in terms of our weight. That's much better. Now is that actually is that bag in my inventory? It is, yeah. Okay. That was the way it was in the previous game, but I was just checking it's still the same way. So I'd need to take a quick drink. You found a new recipe, spicy pastry. Okay, to learn it, right click it in your inventory and click memorize. Ah, okay. So there's the recipe. Copy. Nice. So where do I see my recipes? I guess we only see them when you're cooking. There's no reason to have them earlier than that. Yeah, I guess that's the case. Okay, cool. Who have we got back here? Well, we got loot. I'll have that. Purifying solution. Bunch of survivors, and then Journal. Hello. A young man in well-worn traveling clothes and a simple wooden symbol of Areelu on his chest is efficiently cutting a linen robe into strips to use as bandages. Who's Areelu? Areelu, also known as Old Deadeye and the Stag God, is one of the oldest gods still worshipped in the Inner Sea region, and is concerned with family, farming, hunting, and trade. During the Age of Creation, Areelu was among the gods who battled Rovagug when he sought to destroy Golarion, and who were eventually able to contain him in the Dead Vault at the planet's core. His religion dates back to before the Age of Darkness, when small farming communities and hunter-gatherers prayed to him for bountiful harvests and successful hunts. Legends claim it was Old Deadeye himself who crafted the first bow and gifted it to humans to overcome the challenges of the world. Even as the accomplishments of civilization mount, Areelu continues to embrace and represent the simpler pleasures life has to offer. Okay. Despite his visible exhaustion, he works with zeal, singing some tune about red braids and ripe sheafs of wheat under his breath. He raises his warm chestnut-coloured eyes to you. Are you one of the Crusaders? Oh, thank you for defending those of us whose talents lie off the battlefield. I'm Journal, servant to Areelu. Pleased to meet you. What are you doing? I only took my holy orders recently, so my god has only bestowed a little of his power upon me, as yet. I'm sorry to say that the number of wounded fighters in this tavern is far beyond my power to heal, but there's a reason people say, have faith in the gods, but look to yourself first. I may not be able to help the wounded with magic, but at least I can cut up bandages. Are you from around here? Oh, no, I was just passing through Canabris. I was sailing down that old man of ours, the great Selin River, to a village by the name of Chili Creek. I happened to land in the city on the eve of the festival, and I'm ashamed to say I decided to stay for a day to enjoy myself. But I ended up staying in the city longer than I'd bargained for. Chili Creek, where's that? It's a small fishing village. It's not even marked on some maps, but people do live there. What they don't have is a priest. They have no one to heal their wounds, no one to offer prayers for a good catch, no one to give their dead a dignified burial, and the Worldwound is a stone's throw away. So I'll be setting sail for Chili Creek to serve my god and my people. Once we've held Canabres, I'll be going there. If, by the grace of the good gods, we all survive this, you should come and visit me sometime. You'll find a village here on the bank of the river. The priest marks Chili Creek on your map. Oh, cool. So we've now got a new location for this conversation. That's cool. Aren't you, a young and inexperienced cleric, afraid to go to the border of the Worldwound? I won't lie, I am afraid, but what can I do? Those villagers are simple people. Every day of their short lives is spent doing hard, honest work. That's exactly the kind of life I want, something simple but meaningful. If I had centuries ahead of me, like elves do, I might have spared some 50 years or so to travel around the world, the young man says with a smile. Or maybe even 100, why not? But I don't have time to spare, so I want to spend my short life in the place where I'm needed most, even if it's dangerous. Especially if it's dangerous. I could use the help of a cleric. Areelu knows I'd be glad to help you, but it's no use. My spells are depleted, and I have no training in potions or scrolls. See this robe I'm cutting up for bandages? It's the second to last one. Well, I have to go. May Areelu watch over you. So we'll go and see him later. So what did we get from that? Okay. Yeah, so it's just basically saying we're now invited there. I also call this the commander, which I think is a spoiler. Foreign Autumn Haze. Hello. A tall, fragile-looking elf sits in front of you, eyes closed. He is pale as a ghost, his arm wrapped in blood-stained bandages. In a blood-stained bandage. You spot other bandages on his body under his clothes. But even in such a miserable state, he manages to keep calm. Raising his eyes to meet yours, he says faintly, I am Foreign Autumn Haste, at your service. His pale lips are reddened by blood. They see no signs of pain or fear in his grey eyes. Who are you? Foreign Autumn Haze, son of Kyonin, born in Idara, defender of the woodland border in days long past. So apparently this is someone I should know. The homeland of the elven race on Golarion, Kyonin was completely evacuated by the elves just before the fall of the Starstone. They only recently, by elven standards, returned to Golarion to reclaim their ancient homeland, and have become an isolationist realm, allowing few non-elven visitors into their mist-shrouded capital, Adara. Okay, so he's basically, when he says son of that, he's basically saying he comes from there. Got it. Presently a dark hunter in the name of Calestria, the unquenchable fire. He trails off for a moment, then continues. Surrounded by other peoples, I've grown unaccustomed to speaking with my kin. I've missed this. So Calestria, also known as the Savoured Sting and Unquenchable Fire, is the goddess of lust and revenge who takes on many faces and guises. She is held in especially high regard by elves, who often identify with her mercurial moods and changeable nature. A fondness for wasps has earned this vengeful deity the title of Savoured Sting. Such creatures live on after harming their enemies, a trait Calestria's followers hope to emulate when pursuing their goals. Okay. Who wounded you? A sinner and accomplice to demons. The quarry I am hunting in this inhospitable place. Do you need help? He gives you a sad smile in response. Thank you, my kin. I expected no less from you, but save your strength. The healers here have already tended to my wounds to the best of their abilities. Yeah, and the guy up front's new, but at least he's trying, you know? You don't need to say it like that. However, The arrows that pierced me were poisoned, and only I can fight off the poison's effects. I'm Naminde. You can trust me. I might be able to help you. Of course, my kin. I am always glad of the company of those who know our language and our ways. Who is your quarry here in Mendev? I was hunting a fugitive, a Deskarite by the name of Kalesa. It pains me to admit that there are heinous malefactors such as her among our noble kind. I managed to catch up to her in Canabris. I wounded her. Then demons appeared and the city was engulfed in flames. I was injured in the battle that ensued and couldn't free her soul from its service to her dark masters. He expresses no anger or hatred as he speaks, only compassionate sorrow. Well, I'm sorry for your misfortune. I hope things will turn out differently next time. He bows his head sincerely and with dignity. I will not fail you, my kin. You or our people. I wish to aid in your hunt. Forden covers his eyes wearily. I thank you, but this is my mission, and I'm used to facing all manner of terrors on my own. I do appreciate your willingness to help. If you happen to meet Kalesa, take caution. She has turned many innocent souls to the path of evil. Darkness has rewarded her with many gifts. Her appearance alone will tell you that it is warped. The agate skin, the malicious stare of her blood-red eyes, the bestial teeth. She's more monster than elf at this point. He focuses his piercing grey eyes on you. That miscreant is a disgrace to our people, which means we must bring her transgressions to an end. Should you meet her, my kin, I ask that you show her no mercy. Is this a DC 26? For a knowledge check? Oh, we gotta try it. What does this Kalesa look like again? We failed it. What did we roll? A 3! Okay. Her skin is dark. Her hair preternaturally white. Her red eyes can see perfectly in the dark, which, to my dismay, I've come to know from experience. But bright light causes her kind pain. I used an alchemical powder that explodes in a dazzling flash, and she cried out as if I stabbed her. It's clear that this woman is a faithful servant of darkness. Marks that Kalesa's masters have left on her appearance say as much. But we probably could have worked out what the, what she was serving specifically was if we had passed the check. Anyway, I'd like to know more about you. I won't hold anything back, not who I am, why I made my way here, or who it is that I'm pursuing. Tell me more about yourself. Other peoples tend to believe that identity is the sum of a person's actions and the events that happen to them. For them, I'm one in the long line of warriors of Kyonin, who, since his youth, has dedicated himself to hunting evil and injustice. Okay, for them, I am a successful and capable huntsman who has tracked down and slain a great many monsters. But I am an elf, and for me my identity has a different meaning. It is shaped by the place where I was born, that I love so deeply. I'm shaped by what I find beautiful and what makes my heart quicken, by the fears that come to me in the dead of night, by the things I find so intolerable that the sight of them, my very core darkens and fills with poison. Thus, to tell you who I am, I would require many days and much candor, which is more than you and I have at our disposal. Why did you choose to be a hunter of evil? Because I am the son of a noble and proud nation. We are sometimes criticized for our arrogance, but no one dares doubt our honor. When a crime is committed, we cannot turn a blind eye. If we were to abandon our obligation to oppose evil, if we were to surrender this obligation to other races, we would also relinquish our preeminence. Giving you a meaningful look, Foran adds forcefully, surely you understand, my kin. He's saying, you better be keeping up the standards of being an elf. That's what he's saying here. Anyway, that's fine. And we already know this. I have no more questions. I have to go. Good fortune to you. Okay, now I could go to the basement. I'm not going to go there yet. I want to explore the whole place before I go anywhere else, if that makes sense. Just to see what's going on. So that's the way outside. So there's Anevia. Can we speak to her again? Anevia, in her muted colours, blends almost perfectly into the background. She appears relaxed, but her seemingly unfocused eyes are taking in everything around her, tracking and filtering potential threats. The only tell is the way she drums her fingers on her hip near her weapon sheath. She shows no signs of her injuries and confidently leans on her previously broken leg. She pretends to have just noticed you, even though she watched you approach from afar. Oh hey, see how they patched me up? Now I can run, jump, or dance a jig if I feel like it. Are there any suspicious places in the city I should pay attention to? There were a couple of spots I wanted to check out, but I didn't have time. If there really is a den of cultists there, it'd be good if you could swoop in there and bust some heads. You don't even need a search warrant. Anevia shoots you a crooked smile. First one is the Silken Thread. It's a funny little tailor shop that doesn't take any orders and never buys any fabric. But they always seem oh so busy. They're busy with something in there alright, but so it ain't. Oh, interesting. So I wonder if we're going to get like a mini world map for this city, because it's saying it's been revealed. Cool. Second one is the alchemy shop, Topaz Solutions. They trade in everything, not just healing potions. Judging by the ingredients they've been buying on the black market, there's something fishy about the alchemical rituals going down in that place. Alright, cool. Tell me about yourself. The girl shrugs with a lazy smile. I'd be happy to, but there's kind of nothing to tell. So what's so interesting about me? Where are you from? Nowhere. I was blown in by the wind and found in a cabbage patch. The girl stops short. Sorry, it's an old habit of mine. I don't like blabbing about my past. But you saved my skin, so I guess I kind of owe it to you not to clown around, right? I'm from Nadal, and I wouldn't wish my homeland on my worst enemy. You heard of the place, I'm sure. Sure, where is it? It's one of the oldest surviving countries in Avastan, having been founded during the uncounted years before the age of the Age of Darkness. Even though it is now beholden to the neighbouring infernal realm of Cheliax, it still retains significant autonomy to pursue its own shadowy goals. Okay. Ruled by monsters that ain't alive nor dead, and the official religion is the cult of Zon Kuthon. The deity Zon Kuthon, also known as the Midnight Lord, the Dark Prince, and the Prince of Pain, god of darkness, envy, loss, and pain, possesses one of the most twisted and evil minds in the Great Beyond. His position as god of pain is well earned, and he has been the root of countless tortures, murders, and wars throughout time. He was once a benevolent demigod named Dubral, but was corrupted when he travelled to the far dark places between the planes and returned in his current form. His half-sister, Shellen, still holds out hope that she can redeem him, though the Lord of Shadows shows no sign of remorse or compassion. Sounds lovely. I grew up in a slum like a weed between the cobblestones. I didn't have a dad, but I had lots of aunts and uncles. Mom's cronies. No prize for guessing what kind of business she was involved in. They gave me a set of lockpicks as soon as I could hold a spoon, and while the other kids were picking their noses, I was picking pockets. When I was 12, the monks of the Silent Shroud came for us. Creepy guys with their mouths sewn shut. They're the guards in Nishrok. Mom gave me to her friends, and we hid in the secret temple of Desna. Never saw my mom again. I lay low in the temple for the next few years. Kept my head down, washed floors, fetched water, listened to sermons. Funny thing, after a while I started liking Desna's teachings. As soon as I was old enough, I was out there. I left Nadal and got as far away as I could. Desna, also known as the Great Dreamer, Lady Luck, and Mother Moon, goddess of dreams, luck, stars, and travelers, is among the most ancient of deities. While her peers burdened themselves with the task of creating Golarion, she spent her time building the heavens. She knew that there would be plenty of time for her and her followers to explore the many wonders of the world later. She has changed little since those earlier days, and she and her followers delight in exploring the world. Okay, so that kind of gives us an idea. If she liked the teachings, she's kind of liking the explorer's philosophy, but she doesn't want to be a priest. Okay, that works. Quite a ragtag group you've got here, from nobles to street thieves. Ah, you got that right. Haha, only the best for you. What do you do if the knights and nobles fail to save the world? The lowlives are our only hope. How did you meet Erebeth? I was bumming around Timon a while back, doing this and that. Desnan temples sometimes gave me odd jobs, you know. Sometimes they needed people with skills like mine. On the surface it was fine, I guess. After Nadal, the Freedom of the River Kingdom should have seemed like heaven. My chance to sit back and enjoy life. I wasn't happy. This wasn't any joy in my new life. I was all alone. No one cared about me, and I didn't care about anybody either. I struggled to find a reason to drag myself out of bed every morning. Tying a stone around my neck and jumping to the nearest river started to look pretty appealing. One day I was hired to follow some fellas who the local authorities suspected were Rasmirian spies. I was stupid. I made a rookie mistake and it caught me. Some of my body had already decided to do what my mind had been fighting, to finally put me out of my misery. Getting someone else to kill me, since I didn't have the guts to do it myself. They grabbed me. I thought they got me on the spot, but instead they hog-tied me and dragged me off. And just like an animal going to the slaughter, my only thought was, well, let's get this over with. They brought me to their stinking cave, threw me on their altar, and I realised who it was. Kuthites from Nadal. They tracked me down after all these years. But I didn't care anymore. I wouldn't even have cared if they'd eaten me or whatever. We all gotta go sometime, right? So I was lying there, you know, staring at those knives pointed at me, when fate rolled the dice and I hit the jackpot. Erebeth. There she was, storming into the cave. Picture it, I'm lying on the altar with all these knife-wielding maniacs around me, and suddenly Erebeth storms in. I thought it was Iomade herself, fierce in her shining armor with her gleaming sword raised. She made quick work of those scumbags, chopped them up just like that. I didn't even have time to blink. She untied me, and then the girl's face lights up as she chuckles. She looked through the papers they had on the table, and she started swearing like a sailor. So much for Iomade. Haha. So, how did you end up in Canabras? After almost becoming a human sacrifice, I knew I never wanted to leave Erebeth's side. Desna knows, I fell for her instantly, and I fell hard. My misery was gone when Erebeth showed me what was in those papers, proof that the cultists had a nest in her home city. Well, I offered to help without a second thought. Anevia smiles warmly. She must have figured I couldn't wait to get my revenge on the cultists, but I didn't give a damn about them. It was her. I'd go anywhere with her, even on a crusade, or into the jaws of a dragon. But I took to life in Canabras like a duck to water. I used to be an outcast wherever I went, but half of the Crusaders are the same. After all, who'd volunteer to tangle with demons on the edge of the abyss? You gotta either be a goody two-shoes with too much honour and free time, or a misfit with no life out in the normal world of normal people. People come here to run away from their debts, their past, from themselves, so I fit right in. I know it's bad form to bring up Game of Thrones after Season 8, but this is reminding me kind of the same philosophy of the Night's Watch. You know, you got two sets of people. You got the people who were forced there, and then you got the people who are there for like honor that they couldn't get somewhere else. So, yeah, it's reminding me of it quite a lot, actually. And it's a similar kind of concept, right? It's protecting the world against a threat. It's just that this threat is much more visible right now. So what's it like living with Erebeth? It's like living. Without her, I wouldn't be. Seriously, if I was alone, I'd definitely be gone by now. Sure, sometimes we argue, I can't deny that. Sometimes we bang our fists on the table and yell so loud that the walls shake, but that's all about order business. But at home, well, I'll give you an example. I kind of wanted to move out of the broom closet we call a house into something cozier. It ain't like they take a vow of poverty at the Eagle Watch, but every month, somehow, most of our spare money is spent on Crusader business. Sure, I get mad about it, but Anevia makes a helpless gesture. It's part of why I love her so much. You know, Erebeth has that thing that matters most for a person, a purpose in life. She has always got a reason for whatever she's doing. Her whole life is a crusade, and I just drifted around. Like a leaf in the wind until Desna brought us close together. Now she's the meaning of my life. So it really makes no difference if we live in a mansion or under a bush. Well, thank you for your answers. Thanks for asking. Telling you all this kind of made me feel better. So what do you do in the Eagle Watch? What are your responsibilities? Anevia smiles evasively. Oh, nothing official. I'm not even a knight, you know. I just hang around. You sure you want to know the details? Catching traitors and spies and cultists is no walk in the park. It's a delicate job. You can't always do it all within the letter of the law. What if we surprise some suspicious blighter with an official search? Everyone will know about it before long, starting with their cronies. Then again, sneaking into people's houses at night ain't exactly illegal. Crusaders can't be doing stuff like that, can they? Well, I'm not exactly a knight. The girl trails off. I have to go. Alright, you watch yourself now. Alright, I'm starting to like her. Yeah, hopefully we get a little bit more with her later. Hello, Lan. Lan greets you with a nod. Here for a chat. I've been waiting for you to come and see what strange beast you've taken into your party. What do you think of life on the surface? It must be very different from life underground. Of course. As far as living conditions, the surface is definitely a better place to be. It's easier to get good food and water, not to mention build a house and even grow a few things. In older, well-established settlements, you don't have to deal with anything scarier than rats or maybe foxes stealing chickens. As for the kind of lives you have, I heard a story about demon worshippers abducting a whole family and sacrificing them one by one while the others watched. But there were some brave crusader knights nearby, and they killed the villains and saved everyone. I heard another story. A young blacksmith lost his arm in a fire and couldn't work to feed his wife and baby. They tried their best and lived from hand to mouth, but they were still destitute. In the end, the desperate blacksmith robbed a traveller one night on the road. But there were some brave crusader knights nearby, and they caught the robber and threw him in prison. Not long after, his wife smothered their baby and hanged herself. Lan, this doesn't seem like a fun story. This seems like you're getting into some depressing nihilism here. Up here, the same person can proudly say he's protecting the innocent from demons, and then look the other way while the same innocent starves just because they were born into a poor family. Queen Galfrey prolongs her life with sun orchard elixirs that cost enough to feed an entire city. That's too much. We'll get to her later when it's more relevant. Back in our caves, everyone is equally poor, and if one person starves, the whole tribe starves. We don't abandon our own in times of trouble. That's the power of a tribe. The laws of the surface are made so that some get everything and others get nothing. I might just be a naive fool from the caves, but I don't understand how it's possible to have so much more and share so much less. Anyway, look who I'm talking to. You must know life on the surface much better than I do. Alright, where are we going to go for? I never leave a needy person in trouble. Yeah, okay. Gonna struggle for a very survival against the abyss. Oh yes, I have a few questions for effectless aristocracy. Or evil stop whining, I clawed my own way up. Or I didn't choose what family I was born into, I just live with what I've got. I think we'll say good. Yeah, that kind of fits what I'm going for. I'd never leave a needy person in trouble. I've been given more than most, which means I'm now more able to help others. A fitting reply. Don't take my words as a reproach. I like grumbling as much as cracking jokes. Lan is obviously trying to muster a friendly smile, but it's an expression his face doesn't accommodate very naturally. Okay, I'd like to know more about you. Let me guess, your first question is, can you wear a hat with your one horn? Am I right? Well, can you wear a hat with your one horn? Sure I can, but certain designs don't suit me too well. Lan speaks in a deadly serious voice. Okay. You speak common much better than the rest of your tribe. Funnily enough, common isn't all that common underground, Lan says. But your observation is correct. I used to live on the surface with my parents for a while, and had a chance to learn a couple of things. The language, the fact that every peasant who sees my scaly mug screams, "Demon!" and runs away. I don't know if you're interested, but my mom wasn't from an underground tribe. She was a smuggler, the kind that used the dungeons of Canabris to secretly move and store goods. One time, two gangs couldn't agree on how to share a prime cut, got into a fight, and the winners threw the losers down a hole, dead and living alike. My dad went to check if the corpses had anything useful on them. They found a girl from the surface, barely clinging to life. An incredible feeling sparked between them, or maybe the girl just liked men with scales and a cat nose. And that might be it. One way or another, he got her back to her on her feet, and later, even left his home caves. She left her smuggling behind, and they began an ominous life together. That's the delightful story of how old Lan came into this world. The next chapter, however, my family and I never stayed in one place for long. We lived sometimes on the surface, sometimes underground. We couldn't find a place to call home. Living in the caves was hard on my mom. My dad's appearance raised too many questions in Mandev. They're at war against the demons after all. In the end, my parents decided to stop making each other miserable and separated. My father and I returned to our tribe. I think the peasants screaming, "Demon," had something to do with it. Or maybe Dad just couldn't stand life without rat tail soup. I wouldn't rule out the possibility. So did you come with me so you could see the surface again? No, that wasn't it. I just don't have much patience for certain types of creatures. Demons, I mean. If they want to destroy Cannabis, I'll be on the side of the people they're attacking. Lan looks away. So he doesn't like demons, but I'm thinking he doesn't like demons because he feels like he's part of a demon and he resents that side of himself. That's what I'm getting anyway. So I can say you're my companion and companions should trust each other. I'm counting on you to give me honest answers, not excuses. I don't like when my subordinates hide things or it sounds like a poor reason to uproot your whole life. Let's try good. Lan looks ashamed. I guess you're right. I shouldn't have been so evasive. It's just that some things are hard to talk about. My family, for example. My birth, hell take me, turned out to be a great misfortune for my parents. All because I'm relatively healthy. I'm the best thing that can come from a marriage between a cave-dwelling mongrel and anyone from the surface. A healthy child with the right number of hands and feet. No apparent defects and no missing organs or other problems. They saw hope in me, so risked having more children. They thought it would somehow be alright. Oh, I'm guessing not? A growl edges into Lan's voice. I could have had 4 brothers. The first was born 2 years after me. Died 3 years later. He didn't have a nose. Nothing even remotely resembling one. He could only breathe through his mouth. Mom and Dad were afraid to take their eyes off him, for fear he'd choke and suffocate on something. But in the end, it was his weak heart that killed him. There was another pregnancy. And birth. I pretended I was sleeping, but I snuck out of my bedroom and listened under the door. All those hours, it was very strange, but I never heard the newborn screaming. Mom moaning, yes. The priest praying. Then I dared to open the door a little and looked inside. The priest stood there, very pale. One of them was holding something. A little object that fit in his palm. He asked, "Do you know what this is?" And the other said, "I think it's a head." Lan stops. Enough. You don't have to keep going if it hurts you. Hell no. I started to tell you and I'll make it to the end. You want to know why I followed you to the surface? Well, here's the reason. Lan pauses, exhales, and continues in a steadier voice. It turned out that this time Mom was expecting triplets. The first of the babies was born in pieces. The other 2 didn't live long enough to draw their first breath. About 3 weeks later, my father took me to the caves. He didn't want to leave. I could see it in his face. I think my mom and he decided it together. The curse my people have carried since the first Crusades stood between them, not to mention the 4 dead babies. And old age was rapidly taking its toll on my father. After we returned to the cave, he only lived another 4 years. So you're asking me why I decided to go up with you to the surface and join the Crusaders? Well, the answer is I've always wanted to. I was afraid to leave my tribe, but it always haunted me that I'd die in a world where 4 Crusades could do nothing to stop the beast from the abyss. And the number of victims kept growing. I want to change that, or at least try to. And if changing things is too much to ask, then at least I get a little revenge. The ones who are behind the Worldwound owe me a great debt. The lives of 4 brothers, all my mother's tears, my father's broken heart. It's a lot. So much that killing a couple of demons won't do it for me. I want to do something real, and I'm ready to pay the price. Call it my personal crusade if you like. Lan gives you a slanted grin. I used to think that things would be better if I'd never been born, but now I think I was born for this, to settle the score. Yeah, so Lan, I'm already seeing, is going to make it very difficult if at any point we want to try any diplomacy with a demon. He's going to immediately be like, nah, shut that down, we're killing them. This is going to be an issue, potentially. I don't know. I'm assuming at some point, somebody's going to want us to have some kind of truce with somebody, and Lan is going to mess it up, but I don't know, maybe it's perfect. Because maybe the demons are never going to ever talk to us, and Lan's just going to be like, yep, I got my bow, I'm shooting them. Anyway, why don't you just go up and why don't you just go up and join the Crusaders before? I couldn't just abandon my tribe. I'm their best hunter. They'll have it much harder without me, but now that demons have nearly destroyed Cannabis and the caves have almost collapsed on our heads, sitting and waiting it out just wasn't an option anymore. Anyway, I'm more helpful up here than I am down there. Plus, the chief let me go, which means my debt to the tribe has been paid. Would you like to find your mother? No. The word flies from Lan's mouth faster than an arrow. Then, after a pause, he continues. I don't want to meet her. Not because I feel any resentment. It's just that she's an half-elf. She's barely got her first grey hair, and I'll be a ramshackle old man. She's buried enough children. There's no need to make her witness the death of another one. I hope you understand. Okay. I'm very sorry, truly. Oh, well then I'm very lucky. I met someone who not only helped me choose the right path, but is happy to listen to my whining. Your parents' love didn't survive hardship, but that doesn't mean the same thing will happen to you. What if you find true love, someone who won't leave you, no matter what? And break my beloved's heart when I die in her arms 5 years later? That's a fine thing to do to the person you love. Then again, there's a chance I'll inspire some tragic bard to write a tearful ballad. Well, thanks for sharing, Lan. Thanks for listening. Okay. Mongrels have short lifespans, but you don't look like you're getting old or dying. How old are you? Lan chuckles. I'm as old as I look, no surprises there, but remember Sol? He's 10 years older than me. I remember him back when he was a fearless warrior. Day by day I watched him turn into an old man. Him and my father. It happens very quickly. First you miss a shot because you didn't see the target as clearly as you used to. You think it's because your eyes are tired. You tell yourself it will get better tomorrow, then you notice you're having trouble breathing and that climbing is harder than before. Lan clenches and unclenches his human fist. Your fingers stop bending. You have to tie your sword to your hand. You can't even put your greaves on without help. When you're washing your face in a stream, sometimes you catch a sight of a grey-haired, wrinkled old man you don't recognize. This goes on until one day you come across a cave beast and you realize you can't outrun it. Lan takes a breath. My dad kept diaries, marking all the signs, and I saw it too. Last year I had to help him get out of bed, help him dress, remind him to eat. Sometimes he forgot my name. I told him that we should have stayed on the surface, and he joked that dodging a goddess was behavior unworthy of a crusader. He meant Pharasma. Okay, but if Lan is part half-elf, I was going to say part pure half-elf, and then realized how stupid that sounded. But if he's part half-elf, right? Maybe the elfiness of him, the quarter elf that he would be, is going to make him live longer? I don't know. Every morning I wake up and check how I feel. But there are no signs yet. Even so, I know I don't have much time. I have to do something useful before I forget why I came here. I mean, he does have pointy ears. Just saying, he could be elfy. Okay, I want to talk about Wenduog. Are you sure? Alright. Tell me about your connection to Wenduog. My connection to Wenduog? I mean, where do I start? Lan turns the unexpressive reptile half of his face to you. We grew up together, trained together. She was the chief's daughter. Wait, Saul's daughter? Surely not. Maybe the old chief? Anyway. She was groomed to be the best all her life. And then I came along. We were rivals, but we dragged each other out of tight spots too. I've always been drawn to grand heroic gestures, sometimes idiotic ones, where Wendu liked to roam unexplored passages, finding new caves and making maps. She wanted to be a great huntress, the one who'd make it through the shield maze, but instead she... Lan shakes his head. It'd be better if she died. The death of a friend is painful, but watching your friend become a shadow of the former self is unbearable. She doesn't think she's a shadow of her former self. Of course, she thinks she did everything right, because the second she starts to doubt herself, she'll have to face the truth. To admit she's just a cannibal that demons use as they wish. Lan's frown looks almost like a wince. She wants to get stronger and stronger, but for what? I'll never understand what drives her. Okay, but maybe there's some hope there that if we can get her to doubt herself, then maybe she'll face the truth and turn around? Who knows? Were you just friends or were you more than that? Wow, you really don't pull your punches, do you? Lan exhales loudly. There was a time when I asked myself the same question. Wenduog knew me better than anyone. She understood me better than anyone. She was the first girl I ever, well, you know, but we never loved each other. Maybe I could have grown to love her. But it always seemed like she never understood what love was. Maybe she just wasn't capable of those kinds of feelings. Alright, thanks. if you ever want to reopen any more of my old wounds, you know where to find me. Found out everything I wanted to know, thank you. Sure thing. Okay, tell me about your people. Of course, what you want to know? There's a lot of lore, huh? What's it like living in your caves? Oh, Lan gives her a broad smile. His smile is strange, as if it falters where his human features meet his animal ones. Imagine that in the entire world there's only a few hundred like you. There's not an inch of fertile ground anywhere. Nowhere to grow grain for bread, or cotton, or linen for cloth. Your neighbors are beasts who want to eat you, or parasites who want to infect you with their larvae, then eat you. And it's not that bad, because you try and eat most of the things that are trying to eat you. Sometimes at the risk of getting poisoned, sometimes with almost no risk at all. In the worst years, there's not a single living thing anywhere to be found, predator or prey. That's when you eat mushroom soup. I'd say 3 times a day, but there was barely enough for once every 3 days, Lan shrugs. But life underground has its upsides, pun intended. There's no risk of losing the roof over your head. Oh, always the Joker. There's no bad weather, not counting the earthquakes, of course. It just sounds wonderful. Are you really the descendants of the first Crusaders? More like demon spawn, aren't we? Sad but true. Without the demons, there would be no mongrels. It's the magic of the Worldwound that affected our ancestors that made their children the way we are. Like most in our tribe, Chief Sul fancies himself a descendant of the underground Crusaders. The ones our heroic ancestors left to guard the caves. I don't know if it's true or not. That angel came to our caves for a reason. Maybe he remembered us. Those were evil and dangerous times after the first crusade. Hundreds of crusaders began having children. The babies were born with fangs and horns and warts that covered half their face. People didn't like the new look. The Inquisitors sure didn't. So our ancestors fled persecution and made a home for themselves down there, under the ground. They probably intended to find a cure for their children and hoped to return in time, but it never happened. Instead, the Worldwound's terrible legacy was passed down from generation to generation. Oh. So the fact that it mentions cure at all, I'm now like, maybe we can find a cure. Mongrel parents can only guess what their child will look like. Each of us is born with a new mutation. Many mutations are fatal. Lan stops, then goes on quietly. Down in the caves, we usually don't congratulate the family for the birth of a child. Until they turn at least 3. Most don't even get a name before that. There is no point. Wow. Okay, I can see why he's quite nihilistic if that's the way that his society is. Hasn't been that long since the First Crusade. How do you know so little about your ancestors? Our lives are much shorter than Uplanders. Up here only a few generations passed. Many still remember old Sarkoris, as it stood untouched by the demons. Queen Galfrey, for example. But where we live, mongrels start getting old much earlier than humans, and much faster, and with more devastating consequences. Few live past 40, and fewer still live long enough to die of old age. Hunger, disease, and monsters from the deep are more effective killers in time. So for us, the story of the First Crusade is a legend that happened generations ago. There are no living witnesses. We have the tale of the wise and great ancestors who left us to stand guard in the catacombs. But in reality, I suspect they were desperate wretches who couldn't figure out how to dispel the demonic plague and who were abandoned by their own kind. Do you ever wait to tell day and night? You can't see the sun in your caves. Oh, here we go. Every Mongol settlement has a big gong. We treat it like a relic. The gong keeper hits it twice a day to mark the beginning and end. Oh, so when it says gongs, it's actually every 2 of them. Okay. So when they said 50,000 gongs before, that was 25,000 days. Okay. But this custom doesn't keep time very precisely. Every mongrel child has snuck up to the gong to strike it at the wrong time at least once, just out of pure mischief. Nothing can keep me away from it, not even the fact I only have 1 ear, which means it would take double the punishment. Once I was caught. So sometimes the wrong strikes get mixed in with the right ones. The tribe can find itself jumping up to greet the morning in the middle of the night. Do Mongol tribes fight each other? There were some skirmishes, but I've been forced to kill my kinfolk before too. Lan speaks in a steady voice. Fights most often break out over food. We have laws in the caves, written and unwritten rules that we follow. We respect one another's right to live, but hunger, it can push a person over the edge. I've never, ever, you can count on that, stolen someone else's kill. But I can understand those of my kin who tried. To hear your kids begging for food and not be able to feed them is terrifying. He frowns and goes silent. So you're the only member of the Nithholm tribe to call your people mongrels. Why is that? Because all the Golarion calls us that. I don't see the point in all this hemming and hawing over what we're called. Anyone who finds it offensive or takes issue with it can lead the charge against the name. No one's stopping them. Personally, I'm not going to pick a fight over something as unimportant as a name. Well, thank you. I found out everything I want to know. It's nice to know my ramblings seem useful to somebody. So we're starting to get a much better picture of Lan as a character. Like, a lot of the way that he acts comes from the way his society is, which is very cool. And just seeing, like, he's got a very kind of blasé way, like, thought on life for a lot of things because it just doesn't matter to him. He's like, yeah, it's just the way things are. Things suck for some of it. And then for the things he cares about, you know, he gets a little bit, you can see the passion come in there. Anyway. You said you were prepared to risk your life to do something meaningful. What exactly did you mean? To invent a new salad and have it named after me, Lan remarks grimly, then he sighs. Truth be told, I don't know. It'd be much easier if all I really wanted was to kill demons. Then a few more demons, then more demons after that. Good honest rage and no needless brooding. I think I actually envy the warriors who can live like that. But I can't. If life's taught me anything, it's that there are no easy choices. Dying a glorious death isn't enough. Some heroes of the Crusade did that and they saved entire settlements, erected the ward stones. Their actions kept the lands of Mendev safe for decades. That's what I want, for my dumb short life to have meant something. Mendevian Crusaders. Okay, well, we'll come back to that later. You think I have an exaggerated opinion of myself? Some scaly freak crawls out of the caves and wants to take control of the ward stones and flaunt Iomede's banner? Any fool can charge at the front lines in the demonic armies and die there. What good would that do? I want something meaningful, you know? Even if I have to pay the highest price. Especially if I have to pay it. There are plenty of worthier people who need to survive this war and tell everyone else what nutcases we were. Well, thank you for your answers. So long. Oh, okay. So we're finished with Lan. But it is time to level him up. Alright. Level 3. Look at what he gets at level 3. So first of all, he starts getting a new mechanic called Key Pool. So at 3rd level, a monk gains a pool of key points, supernatural energy he can use to accomplish amazing feats. The number of points in the key pool is equal to half his monk level, plus wisdom modifier. I don't know what his what is his wisdom modifier? Yes, come out of there. What's his wisdom modifier? +3. Oh, okay. So, half his wisdom modifier, half his level, right, anyway, where are we? Half his monk level, plus wisdom modifier, that'll put it at 4.5, so it's either 4 or 5. Okay. As long as he has 1 point in his key pool, he can make a key strike. Okay, at 3rd level, Key Strike allows his unarmed attacks to be treated as magic weapons for the purpose of overcoming damage reduction. Now, I assume that this is different because he's a special type of monk. So is instead going to be on his archery. By spending 1 point from his key pool as a swift oh, is that 16th level? That might be, oh no, I think it's below. Yeah, I think that's not in the same part. Anyway, by spending 1 point from his key pool as a swift action, a monk can make one additional unarmed attack its highest attack bonus while making flurry of blows attack. This bonus attack stacks with all bonus attacks gained from flurry of blows as well as those from haste and similar effects. A monk gains additional powers that consume points from his key pool as he gains levels. So what I'm guessing is that means we can spend a key point to do like extra attacks in a turn. That's really cool. Yeah. Fast movement. At 3rd level, a monk gains a +10 enhancement bonus to his base speed. For every 3 levels above the 3rd, the bonus improves by 10 feet. But if you're carrying a medium or heavy load or in armor, you lose the extra speed. Okay. Key Strike magic. Yeah, so it's going to be magic. Okay, Zen Archer. We gain Point Blank Master as a bonus feat, even if we do not meet the requirements. Choose one type of ranged weapon. You do not provoke attacks of opportunity when firing the selected weapons while threatened. That's when people are near you. That's incredible. Love it. Then Zen Archery. We may use at 3rd level, a Zen Archer may use his Wisdom modifier instead of his Dexterity modifier on ranged attack rolls while using a bow. Wait, really? That's the same for him, but that's really cool. Okay, I like it. It also means if our dex gets lowered, then that we can use Wisdom instead. That's cool. So, what are you the best at? You are Athletics guy. Is there anything else? You are a Mobility guy. So I guess those two, and then maybe Stealth? Yeah, I think Stealth is the only other thing, or maybe Perception. It's kind of like a choice. It's like between those things, isn't it? Perception would be good. Lore Religion is a class skill, but I don't think we need it. Yeah, between Perception and Stealth. I think Perception is more likely to be used by me, so we'll go with that. Feat. We could take Deadly Aim. No, I don't think so. Is there anything else we got in here that's just like, we need it? What's Dragon Style? Call upon the spirit of dragonkind, granting greater resistance, mobility, and fierceness from the blessings of these great beings. While using this style, you gain a +2 on saving throws against sleep effects, paralysis effects, and stunning effects. Furthermore, you can add 1.5 times your strength bonus on damage rolls for your first unarmed strike in a given round. I'm kind of assuming that these are applying to your bow, but maybe they're not. Where's our Zen Archer one? I'm trying to find where our Zen Archer thing is. Because there was one specifically for it, right? Maybe it's this one? Yeah, so maybe... Yeah, so I think that they don't apply. I would assume that actually some of the bonuses do only... I think this might actually only apply to his melee attacks there. Because it doesn't say like that's... It only says Flurry of Blows goes through. Okay, I mean that's fine. Whatever. It was just worth having a look in there to see. So probably Dragon Style will not apply. That's fine. What else have we got here? I'm just kind of doing a quick like move through and see if there's anything obvious that catches our eye. No. No. Toughness is okay for the extra health, but he really shouldn't be getting hit that much. So that's be a major thing for him to have. Improved initiative is quite nice, but again, it's not a huge thing. We could get him endurance, but not that big a deal. Dodge is okay for extra AC. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Yeah, that'd be fine. Die Hard's unnecessary. That's unnecessary. That's unnecessary. That's not necessary. Deflect arrows we can't be using because we don't have the ability to do that. The skill of your favorite weapon can frighten enemies. We could try this. While wielding a weapon which you have weapon focus, you can perform a bewildering show of prowess as a full round action. Make a persuasion check. He doesn't have high persuasion. Never mind. Blind fight. Every time you miss because of concealment, you can reroll your mischance percentile roll one time to see if you actually hit. An invisible attacker gains no advantage relating to hitting your melee. That is, you don't lose your dexterity bonus to armor class, and the attacker doesn't get the usual +2 for being invisible. The invisible attacker's bonuses do get still applied for ranged attacks, however. You gain immunity to gaze attacks. That sounds pretty good. That could be pretty useful. It just is an in general thing. Like if somebody stealths up and tries to hit him, they won't get like the dex bonus removed. Could also take alertness, which gives us extra perception. We did just take perception bonuses there. I might take double. I'm going to take alertness. I am going to take that. That's the one that fits. I think fits right now. Choose one type of ranged weapon. You do not provoke attacks of opportunity. I choose the longbow, the weapon that we use. Easiest choice. Done. Okay, so we got a few more people to speak to in here. Just looking at what we got left, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the episode here, and we're going to do the rest of the exploring of this place next time. Just because I'm looking around and going, we got people here who are named, we've got people here who are named, we've got almost like the same amount left to do that we already have done. Although we have less companions and they do have the most dialogue, but yeah, maybe Irabeth has as much as Inevia, so maybe it kind of evens out. But anyway, I'm going to end the episode here. Thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Goodbye.